Welcome to another episode of the Wandering Watercolor. Let's paint. So this is the third page of the forest scenery watercolor coloring book that I design, print, package. I'll have links to everything in the description, but basically all you need is a paint palette. Any watercolor paint palette will work. Like, for example, this is a really good one that I like. You can find that anywhere. I used this one on the last page. It's the Prang Mini. I actually really like this one because it's very affordable and you actually get good colors out of it. I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. And you need a brush. Any brush works. This is like a $1 Walmart brush. It worked just fine. Porcelain dish where to mix your colors. You can get a soap dish like this in any general goods store, and then 2 jars of water on the side. That's pretty much it. The most important thing whenever you're watercolor painting is the paper. So anyone that's been painting with watercolors for a while will tell you that there is nothing more important than the paper. As long as you have good paper, you will get good results with whatever paint you're using, provided as long as the paint isn't just complete crap. Okay, so this is just a scenery of a little rabbit in the forest, and we're going to there's a lot of green in this one. Obviously it's in the forest. The way that we're going to do it is, first I'm going to grab some of this teal color, and I want more of the paint. I'm gonna wet my brush and then grab some of the yellow green, and I'm going to block in a lot of this section back here, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. I just want to make sure that I have enough water to cover, because this is more than a third of the image. So what we'll do is I'm gonna go like this, and I know we're going over some of the details back here, but don't worry about that right now. I'm just kind of blocking in. I'm blocking in all the way up until this shrub right here. Going in around the ear, and then okay, so all of this we're gonna block it in. And I'm gonna go ahead and wet my brush and then kind of fade out some of this and then leave more light down here in the middle. Okay, so that's the background. When we layer on top of that, you'll still pick up some of that darker kind of like blue-green atmospheric diffusion, since we already laid in the base. Now we can shift our focus to the foreground, and first we will start with the yellow-green that we will use as the base for a lot of the grass. So I'm gonna wet my brush, and I'm mixing up a good amount because I want to be able to go in here and here and here, many different places. And so if you see me getting a lot of paint and mixing in a lot of water, it's just because I want to have enough to draw from as I'm painting. So first I'll go ahead and I'll fill in here like this. And if I go over some of the plants that are here, that's okay, because whenever we add in the details, we can work around that. We can manipulate the paint as we layer it to emphasize details. Okay, so painting all that in here like that, and then down here some of this. Notice I'm doing more where I would put the darker colors first and kind of leaving some of it white. And so I'll rinse my brush now, and then I'll go ahead and I'll pull out the rest of that area like this, so it fades out towards the light, and it has a nice variation. It goes from a little darker to lighter in kind of like a soft transition, which will help with the layering. I'm gonna grab more of the concentration to put back here like this. I'm gonna fade that out. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my brush completely and then dry it off. And you can use, this is just like a cotton rag that I have in my studio. You can use paper towels, whatever works. And then the dry brush, I'm gonna kind of drag it a little bit over the area where I want it to be lighter, just to create a little bit of a highlight. It's not too drastic, it's very faint, but you can still see it. It does add dimension to the image. And grab more of that color and do the same down here. Just grab a little more and then just kind of fill in down here, a little bit here, a little bit down here, just kind of where you see the grass poking out between the rocks and the dirt. A little bit back here, and I'm gonna rinse my brush again, dry it off, and then kind of pull out some of that color like that. That. And basically that looks good. So the next thing is to work on the path. I'm gonna grab some brown and then dilute it. Actually, I'm gonna throw a little bit of yellow, a little bit of the yellow in the brown, and I'm gonna go ahead and start making these marks. Just a little bit here, kind of careful, a little bit like that, more towards the edge of the path, like that. And if it blends in with the green a little bit, that's fine. I'm gonna rinse my brush, and then same thing, just draw out the rest so that there is fading of the light and the dark in the brown of the path. If I'm going fast, feel free to just watch and then rewind and then follow along, or whatever works. Keep in mind, you don't have to rush this at all. Just take your time and enjoy it. Oh, you know what I realized? I forgot this area, so I'm gonna add a little more of the mixture back here like this. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna rinse my brush completely, and then I noticed that a little bit of the green got into the face of the rabbit, and I don't like that, so I'm just gonna kind of scrub that a little bit, dry off my brush, scrub it a little more, just to try to fade out some of that since it's bothering me a little bit. And okay, that's good enough. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the darker green and I'm just gonna fill all of this in like that. Basically, more towards the corner, I'm making it very dark because it'll help block in the shot, or I guess the frame. And then more towards the back here, definitely in the kind of like in the leaves that are poking out. And next I'm gonna rinse my brush and then just kind of do the same where I pull out the color from the markings that I already made. That way I can fade it out. And remember, there's time for details whenever we're layering in the darker colors. So right now I'm just kind of blocking in all the different colors so I know where everything goes. And then doing the details and the shading and everything comes later. But having all the established values in place really helps stay organized. There we go. Okay, so that's all good. I will say, out of all of the watercoloring books that I've made, this one I've probably spent the most amount of time on, and I think it's because I went a little overboard with the amount of detail that I put into each page, which, you know, tends to happen as you get better at something. Okay, and so next, I want to mix together kind of like a gray brown. So I'm going to grab some of the dark blue and the brown, and this is what I'm going to use as the base for the rocks and the stones that are in some of the different places. So right here, for example, I'm going to go ahead and don't just fill in everything, because we want to be able to draw out and create that transition of color like we did with the grass and the path. So just kind of here and there add a little bit like that. Definitely this one, there's a big boulder over here with kind of like some leaves poking out of the side. Okay, I'm just gonna do all that, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then I'm gonna rinse my brush, and same thing, gonna dry it off a little bit and pull out the colors, pull them out like this, like that, like that. So you can see kind of like that. The transition helps to create that form. And when we go back in to add shading, it'll help improve the form even more. Next, we can focus on the trees. So I'm going to mix up some of the brown, but I'm also going to grab some of the teal color, because I don't want this brown has a lot of red in it, and I don't want it to be too contrasting with the surrounding environment. So I'm going to mix in this brown with a little bit of the, I'm sorry, that's the dark green. I'm going to grab a little bit of the teal. If you use green, that's also fine, but that way it's not clashing with the background or the foreground. So this color, that's a pretty good color. I'm gonna go ahead and layer that in here, and kind of be careful about the just the moss and the little shrubs in the front. And basically I'm just kind of looking at the bark and making these darker marks where the bark would be. And then next I'm actually just going to let that dry, actually, because once it's dry and I go in to do another layer, it'll look much better. So same thing, just I'll mix a little more color in here. There we go. So fill that in like that. Okay, that's good. I'll rinse my brush, dry it off, and then I'm going to grab the dark green. Really, it's more of a forest green. between this green and the yellow green. It's kind of a forest green, but either way, I don't get hung up on technical color terms. And so now I can go ahead and double down on some of that darker green here and create a little bit of a, maybe outline some of the ferns here, a little bit of a, creating that variation, some of those details that make the image interesting. Basically bumping up the contrast here and there just to make it look more realistic. There's a lot of contrast in if you look at a forest scenery, because of how much information there is and all the different places that the light doesn't get to or gets less of. I'm also going to use the same color here for these little leaves that are poking out. Just carefully filling all that in, like that. Okay. Oh, and also these ones over here. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush. And next I'm going to grab some of that brown and I'm just going to dilute it with water so it's not as strong of a color. And then I'm just going to overlay it right over here, like that. There we go. And same thing on this side. I rinse my brush. And next I want to mix up a good amount of the yellow green. And again, if you don't have this color in your palette, just use yellow and green. Simple enough. And grabbing a little bit of the brown so that I can create a shade of that same color. There we go. Okay, and so now I'm going to use this to build up the shadows. So here, definitely next to the rabbit, kind of a shadow that is being cast down this way. And then just a little bit of marks here and there, just basically short vertical brush strokes just to show that there's texture, there's grass there. Just a little bit. But the grass itself is short, almost as if the rabbit has been munching on it or something. And then here, same thing, like that. And then on this side, down here, maybe a little bit of the blades of grass, kind of outlining them over here. And you see how doing this really helps bring out the form. It just helps make everything look so much more three-dimensional. Now there's texture, there's shading. Over here, that shrub. I'm adding this just to create that contrast against the head of the rabbit. and just kind of like random brush strokes to show the texture of the shrub. Definitely here for the moss that's on the side of the tree, like that. Up, that, and then some dots, a dot here and there. There we go. And also over here on the other side, just to really create that feel for a three-dimensional environment. Here and there. There we go. Perfect. Just rinsing my brush. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to grab the teal that I have, and it's, if you don't have this color in your palette, you just need to mix some blue with green and just play around with the ratios. And again, it doesn't have to be the exact same color that I'm using. So this color, I'm going to add just a tiny amount of purple, not too much. I just want to darken it and push it a little bit to the blue, but not too much. This is probably, that's enough right there. And so what I'll do here is these shrubs that are closer to us but still in the background, I'm just gonna go ahead and outline them and kind of trying to avoid some of the plants that are in front of them, and just adding this little variation in the background color just helps create more depth. Just like that. Also back here just a little bit, create some more interest there. And then the next thing is to add to the same exact color mixture, we're just going to add some of the yellow green, and we can use that for the leaves on the trees that are in the background. And again, I'm not trying to make this perfect, but giving these different colors, different basically shades of the same color in different places, just helps add to the depth and just the layers of information that are found in a forest scenery, like that. A little bit here and there. And the last thing we'll do is that same mixture, we're just going to grab a little bit of brown, not too much, just a little bit of brown, just to push the color in a different direction, and add that to some of the trees, but not all of them. So like this one in the front, definitely add that. So you can see the variation and how it adds so quickly. It just adds to the layering of information. I'm gonna rinse my brush. And so the next thing that I want to do, I'm going to grab some of the blue and mix it in with this color. And so you get kind of like a blue-green, maybe a little more brown, just to make it more, or blue-gray I should say, just to make it more grayish. So this color is what I'm going to use for the shading on the rabbit. The way that I'm going to do it is, first I'm going to go all the way down here like this, moving the brush up and down slowly to just kind of create some of that feeling of the fur, because there's texture there, but you're emphasizing the shadow and adding some of that transition using the texture to show, using the brush strokes of the shadow to show the texture of the fur. Hopefully that makes sense. I tend to over-explain things, and sometimes that gets confusing. But remember, you can always shoot me a comment or a message if you need clarification on something. And you can always just pause and see how I do something and then do it yourself, to help with kind of like getting a grasp on it. And just gonna do this over here, and then kind of like that. Gonna do a little bit of this for the eyebrow here, like that. And then back here for the ear, just short vertical brush marks just to show. And you can very quickly see it immediately makes the rabbit seem more three-dimensional. And as always, just keep in mind, these colors do dry lighter. I'm gonna rinse my brush. Let's see, maybe dry it a little bit. And I might do a little more, just a lighter, it's too much water on there. Just kind of like a lighter layer on top of that, just to help give more dimension to it. But I think honestly this is enough. I'm worried that I might mess it up, so I think the way that it looks right now is just fine. And for the ear, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab another plate to mix colors on. If you don't have enough space, just grab another plate to mix your colors on. But basically, for the ear, all you want to do is grab some yellow, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of red, and mix those two colors together. Not a lot. You want more water, less paint, so that you can create kind of like that pinkish color, kind of like a fleshy color for both the nose and the ear. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, why not just use the color that I have on the palette already? I just want people to know how to mix this color in case they don't have that already pre-mixed for them. So you're just gonna go like this. Just fill that in, and then also a little bit for the nose, like that. Rinse your brush. Okay, I'm gonna step back for a moment just to see how this looks. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with that one. Okay, so that's it for that one. That one went kind of fast, but hopefully it all made sense. It's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. And remember that you can always shoot me a message, and I'll leave all the links in the description for any supplies that you may want to try, or if you want to try the book. And with that, thank you for painting with me, and I'll see you next time.